By the end of this week, nearly all abortion trigger laws in the 13 states that have them will take effect. Multiple states across America immediately enacted abortion bans following the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. And now, starting today, even more restrictions will be placed on additional states on people seeking abortion care there. In Tennessee, all abortions will be outlawed except in cases related to death or injury to the pregnant person. In Texas, doctors are at risk of facing life in prison or being fined $100,000 if they perform abortions outside of medical emergencies. And in Idaho, all abortions are banned with the exception of rape, incest, or a medical emergency. But in the Biden administration's first legal victory on this issue since the fall of Roe, and honestly, it's the only little bit of positive news that I have to share with you today, a U.S. district court on Wednesday temporarily blocked part of Idaho's ban affecting abortion care in the case of a medical emergency, so at least the doctors in Idaho don't have to worry about being punished for performing abortions, at least for now. Joining me now to discuss, Christina Sinsoon Ramirez. She's the president and executive director of Next Gen America. And also with me, Jenny Lawson is the executive director of Planned Parenthood Votes. So, Christina, I'll start with you. Help us understand what's happening with these trigger bans.
Well, in my home state of Texas, not only did we have some of the most extreme laws to begin with over the last few years that our legislature put into place, but now anyone that tries to perform an abortion can face life in prison. So that means that women going in to seek emergency medical care or in need of an abortion, people like my mom, who was told that if she carried her her pregnancy to term, that she was likely to die. Right now in Texas, she would not receive any care. And it's putting the lives of millions of women across our country that now are banned from being able to access safe, legal abortions.
You know, Jenny, as Christina just said, there are so many instances where it's a nightmare. You're going to have people in the hospital with doctors on the telephone calling a lawyer to see if they can give this person care while the person is dying, basically. I mean, speak to the immediate impact, but also the fact that we're just going to continue hearing stories like Christina just said. We're going to start hearing stories again and again and again where people's lives are put at risk for the political objective of the anti-abortion movement. Essentially, this is the world that they've wrought.
Right. 16 states have abortion bans in effect, and out-of-touch politicians across the country are rushing to ban abortion for more Americans. To put this in context, 1 in 3 American women now live in states where they no longer have control over their own bodies. The 3 states that just banned abortion today, the examples that you just gave in Texas, in Idaho, and Tennessee, women are fearful for their pregnancies, they're fearful about their families, and they don't know what to do. And our right to control our own bodies and lives are on the ballot this November, because that is our first opportunity really to shift and deliver a message. We've seen it recently, but really who wins in this midterm election will determine which states protect access to abortion, and if anti-abortion politicians move forward with their plan to ban abortion nationally.
It's such how you laid that out there is so scary. And Christina, it makes me think about the fact that bodily autonomy is the thing that makes me human, right? It's like our human rights, fundamentally. Christina, do you think that if you don't have the right to bodily autonomy, your government considers you a person? Are they treating you like a second-class citizen if you don't have this right?
I mean, they've decided that a whole class of people cannot decide to make the most basic medical decisions. They cannot decide what's in the best interest of their bodies, their health, for their families, for their future. You know, I mentioned my mom's story. I am so grateful that my mom had the right to a safe, legal abortion because I got to be raised by my mother. I would not be the person I am today had we not had the right and access to abortion that we had for 50 years in this country. And Jenny is right. We know that on the ballot this election is abortion, is a body autonomy, is the right to decide what happens with our families and our children and our health. And at least in Pennsylvania and some other states, we're seeing huge increases of young women registering to vote and registering to vote as Democrats. If we look at what happened in Kansas, I think politicians should be scared and women should know that they have power this election to send a message to any elected official that is trying to take our country or our bodies or our gender backwards, that we have the right to own the future of what happens in this country.
And Jenny, in a few minutes before we go, what can people at home do to help those in states that have lost access to this type of healthcare today?
That's a great question. We are launching our largest political program ever. So one thing that folks can do in states is join up and be a part of our volunteer efforts. And you can do that anywhere in the country. You can join up to our national volunteer program and do phone banking, text banking, communicate in key states where abortion access is at risk, and really help voters in those states understand what's at stake. I mean, right now in Arizona and Wisconsin, for example, thousands of people are forced to travel across state lines to get abortion care due to laws put on the books in the 1800s. The voters in Arizona and Wisconsin need to understand that that is the state of abortion access and what they can do to restore and protect access in their states, and similarly in other states as well. Yesterday marked 2 months since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. 16 states have banned abortion, and in the coming weeks, more will. Hundreds of thousands of people can no longer access the abortion care that they need. And we need women and people who care about women and care about reproductive health care around the country to be a part of energizing and activating this base of angry voters that are out there.
And it's a minority of the voters. I mean, we really are in a place, Jenny, as you said, where people are citing laws written in the 1800s. And you know who wasn't a person in the 1800s?
Yep.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
And you. Christina Sinsoon Ramirez and Jenny Lawson. It's been great to have you, truly. I wish we could talk about something more fun, but thank you both for being here.
Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.